that Jerusalem, it was given for the poor people. All of it, 100%. How can I be this way? Salahudeen and his study of hadith, his love of hadith, he had Ibn Shaddad, one of the scholars of hadith, accompanying him. Why? He would teach Salahudeen in the battlefield. You fight in the daytime, in the nighttime he's studying Sahih al-Bukhari. How can I be such a muhsin? What was it? Who were the scholars? What they taught? And I leave you with this thought. Look, Islam has 3 axes. When Jibreel came to the Prophet ﷺ, he asked him, Mal Islam, Mal Iman, Mal Ihsan, you know the hadith. What is Islam? There's 3 dimensions, if you will, for Islam. You know, like we have 3 dimensions. You don't live in 2 dimensions. You don't live in flat world, right? 2 dimensions is flat. You live in 3 dimensions. So, Mal Islam, the first dimension of this deen. And the Prophet responded, the 5 pillars. Shahadat la ilaha illallah. You know, fasting, giving zakat, going for hajj. And what is the science that studies this discipline? It's the science of fiqh. Fiqh. And there is a discipline to study that. And we have to have that. And many of us, alhamdulillah, we love fiqh. Alhamdulillah. This is one dimension. But that's not Islam alone. There is other dimensions. Many iman. An iman that you start believing in the unseen. You know the 6 pillars of iman? To believe in Allah, the messenger, the books, the angels, the prophets, al-qada, al-qadar. To believe in the unseen. And the Prophet ﷺ then asked about the 3rd dimension. Mal ihsan. There's another thing called the ihsan. Beauty. This dimension of beauty. What did he say? أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه فإن لم تكن تراه فهو يراك. Is that you would worship Allah as if you see Him. And if you do not see Him, He sees you. What is that? So the dimension of Islam, fiqh, studies it. The dimension of Iman, aqidah, studies it. The dimension of Ihsan. What is that discipline? علم تزكية النفس. علم السلوك. That is what those scholars were teaching. The science that I can change myself. إنما بعثت لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق, as the Prophet said. The science of purification of the heart, that I change. That I'm able to reflect divine beauty to the creation. Look, I don't have much time, but I'll tell you this. Ihsan, the core of it is one thing. Ihsan is al-ubudiyya fi shukr. Is that I'm worshipping Allah while I see Him, I witness Him, I'm aware of Him, I'm aware of His presence. I see that He's looking down onto me. Acts done in that mode are beautiful acts. That is the key. I am veiled from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what those scholars taught. And I don't have time to go through how to be a muhsin. But I tell you this, there is something, and usually, like subhanAllah, I gave, maybe it was 4 lectures. They taught the concept of chivalry. Did you hear this word before? Chivalry? We think chivalry is a Western concept, right? No. Chivalry is a Muslim concept. It's called al-futuwa. Go for Ibn Qayyim Madarij al-Salikin, Manzilat al-Futuwa. They taught it. Chivalry is what? Chivalry and تستعمل أحسن الأخلاق مع الخلق is that you show the creation the most beautiful of manners. And they had step-by-step guide. How can I transform myself? How can I change greed into generosity? Anger, rancor into forgiveness? How? What are the steps required for that? That is what we're missing today. When we miss this dimension of ihsan, our deen is ugly. And when we want to manifest Sharia, our Sharia becomes ugly. Sharia is beautiful. Sharia is rahmah. When we fail to be muhsineen, our deeds, our way, our acts, ugly. And we do injustice to this deen. Look, as a summary, ihsan is the way to change things around us. If we, as I said, if we are not beautiful, who are we? Salahudeen himself, when he started his life, like many of the young kids here, he wasn't anything. As a matter of fact, he used to drink wine. He was playing around. But encounter with scholars changed him. We can change. If we follow, we can change. Let this be a wake-up call. What did those scholars, I just leave you with one thing. One of the scholars, Imam Ahmad al-Rifa'i, and look what Ibn Taymiyyah said about him, calling him من كبار الشيوخ المتأخرين. Look what Ibn al-Qayyim said about him. Look what Imam al-Dhahabi in Sayr al-A'lam, A'lam al-Nubala said about him. I'll just give you one thing how they teached. He was in the masjid one day, and he's teaching, and the kitten enters the masjid. If a kitten enters a masjid in Pakistan or Egypt, what happens? Too bad for the kitten, right? You know what I mean. And he was speaking, and he had a long sleeve, and he was sitting on the ground. And the kitten went, and she slept on the sleeve of Imam Ahmad al-Rifai. And you know, a kitten is afraid, right? This man was such a peaceful person, teaching in this environment. And the kitten went and slept on his sleeve. And Adhan is called. This is narrated in Sayr al-A'lam al-Nubala. Adhan is called for Salah. You know what he did? He started cutting his sleeve. He went and he prayed. And after Salah, he came back and asked for a needle. And he started to sew in his sleeve. And then he looked at people and said, nothing changed. I didn't disturb the kitten. Look at this beauty. In the midst of this, one time he saw one of his students killing a tick, killing a bug. You know, if a mosquito bites you, what happens? A tick bites him. And his student did what he was. You know, when a mosquito bites you and you get upset, you know what happens? And Shaykh Ahmad al-Rifai saw that. And he looked onto him and said, لا وأخذك الله. شفيت غيظك? No, may Allah take your own soul. Did you extinguish your wrath? What? Killing a mosquito, is it haram? If a mosquito, are you telling me immediately what the thought now? Brother, what are you saying? It is halal to kill a mosquito, right? We're speaking from the dimension of fiqh. It is halal to kill a mosquito. But he saw something else. He's not only teaching fiqh. Why are you angry? A mosquito made you angry, right? You have a problem. If a mosquito makes you angry, how are you going to deal with human beings? How can you forgive? لا وأخذك الله. Don't kill mosquitoes. And yes, I saw shuyukh in our modern day time. Wallahi. That's what they teach. You go, and summertime, New York in a retreat, and there's mosquitoes all over. And the first rule, do not kill a mosquito. You're not allowed. Why? Learn patience. This is mujahadah. When we want to change inside, there is two ways. The way of mujahadah, and there is a way of mujahadah, and I don't have time. I wish I had more time to speak about both ways. This is what scholars teach. Spiritual exercise. If I want to change the way I look outward, al-khalq. Brothers here, young brothers, you want to develop some muscles, what do? You go to the gym. And what happens in the gym? You sweat. You carry weight. And you sweat. Do you like it? Do you do it one day? Do you do it one time? No. And as a result, in the beginning it's hard and you sweat, but the outcome of it is what? Muscles develop, I change. And after a while, it becomes what? Easier. And after a while, it becomes enjoyable. Similarly, there is exercise of the body, and there is what they call riyadat nafs, spiritual exercise, to discipline my ego, to discipline my nafs, which now is transgressing from inside. My anger needs control, my desire needs curbed. I need to control them, and there are ways for it. And spiritual exercise is something we lack nowadays. Wallahi, we lack. People would come and sometimes you ask, brother, I cannot lower my gaze. Brother, I don't have khushu' and salah. You want me to tell you something? Do you want me to tell you what to do? I can tell you what to do, but I can tell you you're not going to do it. What? Why? Tell me. How can I lower my gaze? You know, I'm here on campus and there's so many fitness around. What should I do? Right? Okay, I'm going to tell you what to do. And don't be surprised, the concept of spiritual exercise. You have a car? Yes. Do you drive? Yes. Do you drive on the highway? Yes. I want you always to drive 10 miles per hour lower than the speed limit. Do you go to buy something from Albertsons or like, you know? Yes. Which aisle do you go to when you check out? The one with the shortest line. I want you always to go on the longest line. What does this have to do with anything? I'm telling you, how can I lower my gaze? What? This is not the answer. This is the answer. And I can explain for you why, if you do not see it. It's about what? I cannot restrain. When I say I cannot lower my gaze, what am I saying? There is in me the shahwa of desire, the nafs. There is the nafs and the qalb. inside of me, my ego. The forces of my ego are anger and lusts and desire. And if my ego is so powerful, I cannot restrain it. The heart, on the other hand, is the organ that restrains. Patience. The concept of patience. Patience is restraining. The ability to restrain anger. Like Salahudeen. When somebody does something bad to me, I don't get upset. I respond in beauty. I respond in forgiveness. When desire comes, I can curb them. I can look the other way. Patience. Did I practice patience? I need to go to the gym and practice patience. That's it. When I can't have khushu' and salah. You know what I'm saying? I cannot restrain my brain. That's the problem. I cannot, the concept of restraining my thoughts. When I say Allahu Akbar, I should be able to tell my mind, stop, disengage, go back. It's time. I'm not trained. I need training. And this is a discipline in Islam and suluk. The other side of it, which is the easier one, and I don't have time for it, is mushahada. And I leave you with one small example. The reason I'm not a Muslim, the reason I cannot forgive, because I did not see Allah. Ihsan, look, Muslims, akhlaq, good manners, beauty, stems from the beauty of Allah. Our good manners flows from the attributes of Allah. If I saw how Allah forgives me, wallahi, it will be so easy to forgive others. If I saw the mercy of Allah, I will be giving it to everyone else. The reason I cannot forgive means I did not taste the forgiveness of Allah. The reason I cannot be merciful and compassionate, it means I didn't see the compassion of Allah to me. Look, simple words. If I go to my work tomorrow or after tomorrow, and I go late, and then I run inside, and I'm late to my job, and here comes my boss. And he tells me, why are you 2 hours late? And now I'm seeking an excuse, oh, sorry, sir. And he says, I'm not asking you to punish you. What happened? Are you okay? And I say, you know what, my son was sick today, and he was throwing up, and he tells me, you know what, go, take care of your son. Go take care of your son. I'll take over for you today. I'll cover you up. I go back home, and I find him, he sent me flowers and gifts for my son. Ihsan. Now next day I come, and one of my employees comes late to work, 2 hours. What will I do to him? Will I fire him? Impossible. Why? I tasted what it means to be a person. It's impossible for me not to give it. The reason we cannot show ihsan to others, we did not receive it from Allah. I leave you with this contemplation. Surah Al-Shams. وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا. Look, it's again beautiful meaning here. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us, the sun, the creation of Allah. He says, وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا وَالْقَمَرِ, the sun and the moon. And there is something interesting about that. Sun, the source of light. The source of life. No light, no nur, no life. Would I like to live in darkness? No. When it's dark, I'm not safe. I feel unsafe. Darkness, there is no life without the sun. Nur is hayah. Plants, and without the sun we die. And subhanAllah, look at the earth. Where is the sun now? Without the sun, everything is dark. I cannot even see. Things are scary. But look at this. Today, in the morning, we face, when the earth turns, you face the sun. When you face the sun, light comes. You can see clearly. But as the earth turns, is the sun there? It's dark outside. Is the sun gone? The sun is still there. But all what happened is what? We turned away from it. Similarly, when the gaze of my heart, when it sees Allah in everything, I am in daylight. Things are good. But when I turn my heart away, I do not see Him. I'm in darkness. But look to what the verses say. وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا. And the moon, when it follows. And subhanAllah, what a beautiful meaning. Nighttime. You go outside. Have you ever seen the moon? And the moon illuminates darkness. And I ask you this. The moon is a source of light. Is it like it eliminates darkness? Is the moon eliminating light from itself? The moon is a dark object, as a matter of fact, isn't it? How come it's so shining? Because it's facing the sun. When the moon faces the sun, it reflects the light from the sun to the darkness of people like me. Muslims, when I am dark, light is not from me, Allah is nur. But when my heart is not the source of beauty, but when this heart like a mirror, polished with mujahada, faces Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sees Him, it reflects divine beauty, a nur to the creation of Allah. And subhanallah, look at this. وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا. Tala means to follow. But we use tala for something else, which is what? يَتْلُو الْقُرْآن, right? تلاوة القرآن. If I was to follow the Quran, I too will reflect the beauty of the lights to the creation around me. Ihsan is ubudiyya in shuhud. How can I see Allah in everything? In ease, in hardship. How not to be veiled by the creation? How not to be veiled by myself? To know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every single situation. And I finish with this. This is the last thing. I apply to myself. So I spoke to you here. I don't know, some of you might be, oh mashallah, good speech. Some of you, very boring speech. What? See, again, I'm going to speak about me. What happens now? If somebody comes and, oh mashallah, brother, what a wonderful speech. It will be what I smile, jazakumullah khair, and I hug him, right? If somebody else comes, what a terrible speech you gave. Wrong things, you did not quote correctly. And here, what will happen? I frown. Can I hug him? Can I smile to him? Why? I'll tell you why. Because I see the creation. The one that praises me, I see his praise. The one that blames me, I see his blame. I'm veiled from Allah. Where is Allah? I'm veiled from Allah by the creation. Ibn Ata'illah secondary says, من مدحك فإنما يمدح جمال ستر الله عليه. فالحمد والشكر لمن ستر وليس لمن مدح. Whoever praises you is praising the veil, the beauty of the veil of Allah around you. Praise be to the one that veils you, not to the one that praised you. What is he saying? When I see you praising me, I do not see myself. I see that I have many faults. I see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has His name and the attribute as Sittir, the one that veils. And He veiled my ugliness. And His veil is so beautiful. When you are praising me, you are praising the veil that He placed around me. If you were to see my heart, you would not praise me. That is ubudiyya in shuhud. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا اله الا انت نستغفرك ونتوب اليك والعصر ان الانسان لفي خسر الا الذين امنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. جزاكم الله for your patience. And if you have any questions, I'm open for it. We'll start with the sisters. And if you want to leave, I mean, you can leave. I apologize for taking longer than what I should. جزاكم الله. No questions? I should be asking questions.
So I have a question for you. The problem of New Yorker is not bad, you know. The mosquitoes, you know, they could produce, West Nile virus, but if you're in Arizona and you get in your backyard, practice me. What do you do?
See, subhanAllah, there is a difference between fiqh and ihsan. Even when you see a rattlesnake, sometimes you have to kill it. I lived in Texas and there is a scorpion. And I have a baby.
I was going to ask you a scorpion, right?
So, are you telling me not to kill a scorpion? That's not what I'm telling you. How are you going to kill it? See, there is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that said, what? إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَتَبَ الْإِحْسَانَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. Allah commanded and wrote ihsan on everything. And the hadith continues. So if one of you is slaughtering, about to kill someone, let him sharpen his knife. Even there is ihsan in killing. When I kill a snake, why are you killing it? Why am I killing the scorpion? Because I'm angry? Because I'm revenging? Because I'm avenging? No. That's not why we kill. Salahudeen al Ayubi, did he fight? Did he kill the Crusaders? Yes. Why did he kill? It's not because of personal reasons. The Prophet ﷺ in the khutbah said, didn't he fight in the battle of Uhud? Didn't he hold the sword in his hand? Why did he fight? That's what it's about. What kind of heart is behind it? I'm not telling you do not. You go and you do what you have to do. But be careful with this. Sometimes I have to punish. Somebody did something wrong. Are you telling me to forgive him and not to punish him? And this is the science of chivalry. Forgiveness does not mean you do not establish the had, by the way. And there is long discourse on that. How do I establish the had? How do I punish? When my kid makes a mistake, I'm speaking, I have a son and a daughter. Do you think I'm happy punishing them? I don't like it that I punish them. Sometimes I have to punish them for their own good. But when I'm doing it from inside what I'm doing, I'm making dua for them. This is what we should do. You are about to kill a snake?
You remove adab. You know, if there's something as an adab to you or to any human being, you remove it.
No.
You know, even the fathers, okay, I came from Iraq. People cultivate corn, okay? And there's some Havalud goes in there and mess up the corn. So what they do, they shoot him or they leave him to have a mercy on him.
So you see, like again, we're confusing two things. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying.
No,
it's not about not doing it. Doing the act is fiqh, right? Somebody did something haram, you have to punish him. A rat enters the house and he has rabies. You have to kill him.
The example of the mosquito.
The example of the mosquito.
I thought there was a little bit too much in that example, so that's why I'm
actually, as a matter of fact, this is one of the very common questions about riyadatul nafs. And I'll give you a very simple example. When we go to the gym, right? What do you do in the gym? Do you do normal things? You do abnormal things. Where does it say that I have to carry weight that's heavier than what I can? But this is the exercise. Exercise means what? You impose on yourself things for the sake of what? Disciplining the self. I shouldn't be lifting weight like that. Must I lift weight like that? No. Can I kill a mosquito? Yes. But if you want to learn patience, do not kill them. You know what the scholar says? You can capture them if you want. You can throw them away. And that's what the sheikh did in front of my own eyes. He never killed the mosquito. And you can learn to push them. Don't kill them. Isn't it allowed? Yes, it's allowed. Use bug spray. But as a training, do not kill them. As a training. I don't know if you get the meaning. It's training. You're being trained. It's an exercise. It's not a fiqh rule. And that's our problem. We only think in fiqh. We don't think in riyadatul nafs. But this is not my words, by the way. What I said is mentioned by scholars like Ibn Qayyim, Imam al-Ghazali. You can find it in Siyar A'lam al-Nubala, Imam Sheikh Ahmed al-Rifa'i, Ibn Ata'illah. This is what they teach. So it's a discipline taught by scholars. Whether I like it or I don't, it's a fact, it exists. The example of the mosquitoes is mentioned in Siyar A'lam al-Nubala by Imam al-Dhahabi. You don't like it, go take it with him. Right? So I'm no one to say anything. So I'm not here.
I hear somebody or a group of people bad-mouthing Islam, how do you apply Ihsan and respond to them in a quick and easy manner?
You understand the question? When you hear somebody bashing Islam, what do you do? When somebody is showing ugliness, right? And I was discussing with the brothers